What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified series. This is Spirit Iron Knife. This is one of my top 5 favorite characters from G.I. Joe. Yeah, I was very pleased when they finally announced him. Maybe I was hoping for a little bit more of a Pursuit of Cobra feel to the figure, but I think as far as what we got, I think it's a pretty solid looking figure. The packaging is right here, and we'll get to that right now. We'll move on to the figure in a second. Let's just get this in here and get this over with. Looks like a little bit different of a artwork here, and just kind of comparing that with, let's just see, we got Flint here. You can see the artwork is much different as far as the two goes. I think that maybe they're going for more of a Native American theme here. I don't know, but you can see on the side as well, it's much different as far as the artistry goes. So there you go with that. Flipping around to the back, we do also have different artwork on the back, and just to kind of bring back this artwork over here, you can see how the two compare to each other. There's no new characters on here. Everything that we've either seen or has been released before or is about to be released is already on here. So nothing new. It's not like on here where we saw the Alley Vipers before they came out, and Major Blood before he came out, and a bunch of other stuff before they came out. So nothing new on this card. It's just a little bit different. On the other side, we've got, I guess this is the lame duck kind of file card system they have going on here, which I can't stand, where you have to go online and like look it up, and I'm like, I'm not doing all that. If you're not going to take the time to put the damn file card on the card like you're supposed to, then I'm not taking the time to go to your stupid website and look up a file card that I already know exists and I already have on Spirit as it is. So I don't know, either put the file card with the character or just don't do it at all, is what I'm saying. Okay, and we're back with the figure as a whole. This is everything that he comes with. He comes with a multitude of accessories, which I was actually surprised that he was going to he came with the stuff that he did. He does come with a rifle. He comes with Freedom. He does come with a backpack as well. He comes with a sidearm, which is a 1911. Let's just get that out of there. There we go. There's the 1911 right there. Fits right in there. There goes the backpack. Let's get this out of his hands as well. And it does fit into the hands very nicely and securely, so you don't have to worry about that. He also does come with 2 knives. One is right here. And I kind of wish that the blade was painted a silver color, because this one was painted a silver color and looks really good, actually. And here is the butt of the handle right here, and it looks like to be some sort of skull or something, like a bird or something like that. Looks pretty cool. I like it. I do kind of wish that this sheath was faced the opposite direction, which would be downward. That's just me, personal preference thing. But he also, on his as far as detail goes, the harness here also comes with like it looks like to be like a smoke grenade and a frag grenade right there. And then he also has a drop down leg holster and a drop down knife holster, which is pretty cool. I think it looks pretty nice. I was expecting them to do a kind of a foot holster here, but they didn't, and I'm fine with that. As far as aesthetically, I think he looks really good. I think the sculpt of that head looks fantastic. I really do like it. The eyes look straight. They don't look crooked. They don't look really cross-eyed. So that's pretty good. I like the ponytail braids. Those look really nice. Or not the ponytail braids. The, what you call it? The braids themselves. They look really good. It looks pretty sweet. And, yeah, there are some reuses from the Duke body here, and I'll just kind of go over that really quick. Let me just bring in Duke. The feet themselves are different. They are a new sculpt. They are not the same sculpt as Duke, but everything from the ankle up to the, I want to say the waistline is exactly the same. So pretty much from the waist down to the feet are exactly the same from Duke, except obviously for the armored pieces are not there, which he doesn't really need armor pieces for what he's going to be doing. He's a little bit more infantry, so it makes sense for him to have, knee pads, shin pads, stuff like that, a little bit more armored up than the normal Joe. Giving him back out of the way. The similarities also, let's just check really quick. The hands, I'm assuming, are the same, and I think they are the same, the hands themselves. Yes, they are. The little, I guess, bracelet or whatever you want to call that is different. He does not have a watch on him. He has this like gold band. And then for the eagle or bird glove, it extends up to his forearm, so he can have freedom sit on there. That's what those 2 peg holes are for. The shirt is different from Duke, and I'll just bring Duke back in here really quick. And as you can see there are lines over here for the pockets. There are no lines over here for those pockets as far as them being sculpted differently. So the shirt is an all-new sculpt. It is different. Is not the same. He has a collared piece up here where Spirit does not. It is an all new different sculpt. You can even see how the collar is sculpted differently. So all new sculpt for him as far as the upper torso goes. The arms are also a different sculpt as well, so that's pretty cool. Really like this face sculpt though. I'm very pleased with it. I think he came out fantastic. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the blue shirt look. I like more of his Pursuit of Cobra look, where he looked more like kind of Billy from Predator, but I still do think that this fits. They're kind of going for, a little bit modern, a little bit futuristic, and a little bit traditional. Kind of all blended in. So I think it works for the character, and I think they did a good job on that. It does come with Freedom. Freedom is the second accessory, or the multitude of accessories. So it comes 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically the wings are 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 accessories total technically. But Freedom is technically an accessory. He is articulated. Their articulated points on him are as follow. The head can look up and down on him. It can also pivot side to side. It can swivel side to side as well. So you get a little bit of extra character out of, a bird, for God's sake. They did a really good job on the animal companions. The wings can swivel up, and that's pretty much it. It's maxed out right there. Not sure why you would want to have him like this, but you can do that. As far as the wings interchangeability, they're just a ball peg, and you just take those out. And then you want to take these wings. I'm not sure which way they go. I think they go this way, like that, and just plug them right into the torso. And then there, now you have some flying wings. You can have him soaring like an eagle. Eagly. You could also use this as Eagly if you wanted to for Peacemaker. That show is something else, man, let me tell you. The wings can go down like that. I think I might have these wings on back. I keep thinking that the wings are on backwards. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess you could put them in either way. I guess it doesn't matter too much. No, this has got to be. Now, this is the right way. You want to have so the wings are a certain way here. I thought I was going crazy for a second. I had to just check something. So that looks pretty cool right there. You actually might want, because there's a little bit of paint shading going over here, and there's also paint shading on his back, so you might want to flip these like this so the paint shading continues like so, like that. So this might actually be the proper way to do it, because the paint shading is fluid throughout. So this might actually be the right way to do it, just like so. So you want to have the non-painted side like this on the bottom, and then the painted shaded part on top so it matches everything. You can do it either way. I mean, it's your toy. You do whatever you want with it. The legs are articulated. They're on just a swivel here. The ankles you can also swivel as well. So decent articulation for just a little bird companion. It's a America right here. It's America. See that America? That's America. You can have him diving down. You can have the wings pushed downward as well, like that, if you want to. I think it looks really nice. That's what it looks like from the other side. Good looking. And the other cool thing is that you can actually have him posed on his forearm, just like so. Just take these pegs on the bottom, peg them right into the holes right here. You do have to have him kind of posed a certain way when you have him on his arm. But as you can see right here, just kind of have to work those ankles a little bit. He can stand perfectly fine with full extension in those wings and everything. I'm not touching him at all. There's no figure stand or anything, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You can have him posed on his arm. You can have him posed on his backpack if you want to. 2 peg holes right there, 2 pegs on his feet, blah, 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 blah. And there you go. Just like so. Kind of have his wings spread out so he's showing off now. Freedom showing off here. So you can have him on there, and then you can also take your rifle. There's a peg right here, peg hole right here. Just pop that right on there like so. And now everything is stored. You can store everything. You can store your freedom. You can store your rifle. You can store your pistol and both your knives. And let's see if I can get him to stand properly. But there you go. He can stand perfectly fine. So there you go with that. If that's what you wanted to do there, you could do it. This is going to be a lot easier for you to pose with him with the other wings on. I was just kind of trying to show you worst case scenario. Let's say you lose these wings, the folded in ones. You could have them resting in there as well. There you go, just like so. And there's no issues. He does hold his rifle pretty decently, so you don't have to worry about that. Just kind of feed it in there. Now, he still has the same issues that Duke had, where there's a vertical grip going up and down here on the left side, no vertical grip on the other side. Where we need that lateral grip on this side and a vertical grip on this side. Or alternate hands with the same thing. A right side coming with a vertical grip and a left side coming with a lateral grip. That would have been a nice thing to do, nice little touch. But they did not do that. They're not a big fan, this toy line isn't a big fan of giving us extra hands. From what I can see. Extra heads, yes. Extra hands, yeah. But let's see if we can get him into the proper rifle pose with the wrong hands on the wrong sides. Let's see if I can also work this in. This hand has been very annoying as far as trying to get it the exact way that I want it and have his arm look natural on there. There we go. But as you can see here, it's not really too much of an issue getting him to look down the sight. It's not too bad. If we still had that, I just wish you had that vertical grip right here, so I can adjust that, tuck that a little bit further down into his shoulder so it looks a little bit natural, but I still think this looks really good though, as far as that goes. Now, the other really cool thing about this figure and what he can do is, this is what I really dig. Not a lot of figures can do this. I've only seen Joy Toy able to do this, and maybe a couple others like a Figma and other stuff, but they don't do too many like military figures. But what you can do with this figure is you can pop that head back as far as you want, right? You can lift these arms up and adjust that torso, feed his head back as far as you can go. You'll have to readjust the arms a little bit, but look what we can do here. This is quite the accomplishment for a $22, $23 figure. You can actually get him into a sniping pose. Look at that. Not a lot of toy companies can get this done. Now, I know you got to bend the knee and you got to do all that fun stuff about, you know, him laying down properly and such, you know. You got to get that leg up a little bit more into a proper sniper stance. But look at that. He can lay down and look down the sights and snipe people. That's beautiful. Not a lot of toy companies can do this, but they really did a bang-up job on this, and especially him able to look down the sights like he's supposed to and have that sight near his eye. This really looks official, just like this. It looks very well done. I know they did repurpose his character as a sniper now. Personally, I'm still going with the tracker theme. I like it, regardless of whether people think it's racist or not. That's his original designation for his character, and I don't have a problem with him being a tracker and a sniper. There's nothing wrong with both, but that's kind of how I always utilized him. So it's really well done. So I definitely have to commend Hasbro for being able to accomplish that pose, because that's a big one, especially if we're going to get a low light in the future. He's going to have to be able to do that as well. So that's pretty cool. I love that you can just stand neutral just like this or just like this and just look fantastic with this gun in his hand. That's rifle, excuse me, in his hand. If you don't want freedom on here, you don't have to have him on there. You could just have him and his backpack and go on adventures together. And I think that's really good. I think it looks great. I also love that they didn't give him a spear gun. Thank God, because I hate that spear gun shit. It's terrible. Look, the backpack could have used a little bit of more paint detail, but I'm pretty much used to that at this stage. It's very similar to his vintage backpack as well. Same thing as Duke. And I dig that. They took away those stupid little arrows for the arrow rifle, and they just put kind of black containers right here, or compartments or such right there. I do wish a little bit of paint detail would have just went such a far way for this backpack, but I don't mind it. I don't mind this peg sticking out either. It doesn't really bother me too much. This is one of those figures where whenever I go on a vacation, I always bring an action figure with me and to, you know, go on the adventure with me, and this figure makes me want to bring him everywhere with me. You know, I always bring Shadow Tracker with me and I'll bring a couple other just like figures and mix it up and do some posing and such while I'm out of town or camping or whatever. This is one of those figures that makes me want to bring him around. So I can really appreciate that. If you want to use other rifles also with him, I just happen to have this Gridiron Studios sniper rifle right here, excuse me. It does fit into his hand nicely. All the 1/12 scale sniper rifles will. We do have to work with the hand a little bit more just because of the way it's set up, but he can hold it nicely. I don't have any issues with it. He can look down the sights as well, so there's not really too many issues there. If I work with this a little bit better, obviously he'll be able to look down the sights a lot better, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of how it will look in his hands. And that's pretty much how it's going to look. So he can get the job done there. He can hold it. This is probably going to be the rifle that I do give him. I just think it looks a little bit more official. There's nothing really wrong with this rifle. I think it looks good. I just prefer this with him. I think it looks really good. I don't know. And also, another cool thing is that it also pegs right onto the backpack. So if you happen to have this rifle from Gridiron, you can peg it right onto the backpack, just like the other one. So if you want to have some storage options there for yourself, you could, if you wanted to. And that's very nicely done. So, and it would store the same way with the Hasbro one as well. Now, technically, it should be stored like this, but it does bump into his arm when you try to peg it, so you have to store it like that so it doesn't bump into anything. So, bummer, but, you know, whatever. As far as the knives do go, now, the knives do fit a little bit loose in his hands. This knife especially. The better knife, the more detailed knife, you almost want to just put it in upside down, kind of in that stabbing motion, because it's a little bit loose in his hand, even right now, but it does sit a little bit better in his hand just because it's faced downward and you have this butt that kind of sticks out. So he can hold it a lot better in that hand. If you have him holding it the other way, like so, it's going to jiggle and fall right out of his hand. And you can already see it. It's wanting to fall out of his hand, just like that. Same thing with this one right here. It kind of just wants to fall right out of his hand. And it just doesn't look natural. Like the knife should be upward, kind of like this, and looking a specific way. I don't know. And if you put it in this hand, I kind of stretched this hand out. That's why I was doing everything in this hand. So that's kind of my issue, but this hand was not stretched out, so I don't know. Hasbro definitely needs to go back to the drawing board with these handles for their knives. They've kind of never gotten that knife thing right. They can technically hold it, but, you know, it's not the best. As far as the 45 does go, that can fit into either hand, and same thing with the rifle as well. So you can have him like this, you can have him holding the gun up like this or like that, whatever you want to do. You can fit it into the other hand as well. And this has actually the lateral, or vertical, excuse me, hand anyway. So this is probably the one you're going to want to use for the sidearm, maybe. Well, I mean, you could use either one, but this is the one with the vertical grip. So, I don't know. I like his accessories. I think everything works. I love that everything is storable on him, including freedom, which is great. Okay, as far as his articulation does go, his head can look down, it can look up really well. Like I said, that neck is also a separate ball peg there, so it can move on its own. I'm actually not moving the head, I'm moving just the neck. And the neck can pivot side to side a little bit. The head can also pivot side to side a little bit. Let's see if we got some jive turkeys. Oh yeah, we got some gobbles up in here. So there's that. The arms can go up about that far. Go down, full 360 rotation in the arm, full 360 rotation in the head if you need it to. Not sure why you would need it to, but it's there. You do have butterfly joints on both sides. This one's a little bit locked up on me, but it's not too bad. Bicep swivel. He does have a double jointed elbow right there. He does have a swivel at the wrist. He does have a, like I said, vertical hinge joint in this hand and a lateral hinge joint in this hand, so they're different from each other. He does have an ab crunch, which crunches forward. It can crunch back. He does have a waist swivel, and you can do a full 360 if you wanted to. The hips, I would say probably be very careful with these. These are still those Duke hips, and they do have drop down legs, so you can get the leg up if you needed to, and it will go up on its own about that far. Also, it does have upper thigh swivel. It does have double jointed knees. It does have boot swivel. Points to toe, points to heel, ankle pivot, and 2 peg holes. Okay, first up for size comparisons, we've got an SH Figuarts Darth Maul on the right, and then on the left we've got an Articulated Icons martial artist from the Articulated Icons Ninjas line. Okay, next up we've got two Marvel Legends. We've got Domino on the right, and we have Obadiah Stane on the left. Okay, next up we've got two bigger Marvel Legends. We've got Sentry on the Hyperion body on the right, and then on the left we've got the Marvel Legends SDCC Boar action figure. Okay, next up we've got two other big boys. We've got on the right, we've got the Spartan Collection Enigma action figure, and then on the left we've got the NECA Lost Predator. Okay, next up we've got a Motu Classics in Vicor on the right, and then on the left we've got Sir Gideon Heavensbrand from the Mythic Legions action figure line. And next up we've got the Jurassic Park Amber Collection action figure on the right, and then on the left we've got a Valaverse Action Force Condor action figure. Okay, and last up we've got Spirit with two other fellow G.I. Joe Classifieds figures. We've got Gung Ho on the right, and we've got Duke on the left. Okay, so for my final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classifieds Freedom and Spirit Iron Knife figure, I would say this is definitely a 2 thumbs up and a full recommend. This is a really nice action figure. It really does blend the lines between the modern, the classic, and a little bit of futuristic technologies here. Dumbing it down a little bit more for Spirit. I don't mind the rifle that he came with. I love the Freedom action figure. I think he looks great. The peg points on him work well. The articulation is top notch. The fact that he can get into that sniper pose is huge points for me. I think that's fantastic. I love the color scheme here. I'm not a big fan of the blue shirt, but that's just me. It doesn't really bother me too much. I still enjoy the figure. I love the head sculpt. The head sculpt looks fantastic. And I also love that there's storage on him everywhere. You can store Freedom on 2 different points. You can store the rifle. You can store the handgun. You can store both knives, and I love that about this figure. And that's another big selling point, I think, for myself, is that the storage capabilities on an action figure. We can get 10 billion accessories, and that's great and all, but if they can't fit on the figure, they're rendered useless and going to go in a bin somewhere. That's just me. But I don't know. I really like this figure. I really love the head sculpt. I think overall, from top to bottom, he's just a fantastically done figure. And I'm actually quite pleased and quite surprised that Hasbro didn't try to make him a deluxe figure, because when you take him out of packaging, especially with these open wings right here, it does take up quite a bit of packaging space, but there is a lot of packaging space to be used. So he's still a $22 figure. I like that. He's not a deluxe figure like Snake Eyes and Timber was, but that was almost kind of acceptable. I kind of understood that. I really like this figure. I think he is going to be one of those top tier figures in the future, as far as when people look back at this line, they're going to be like, hey, remember Spirit? What a great figure, you know? And I really like it. I think, you know, he came out great. Freedom, forgetting his name for God's sake. Freedom came out fantastic. I love the articulation on him, and just the paint, the detail, and the aesthetic of the character works well. It could use more paint detail on him. If I have time, maybe I'll do some dry brushing and some line work and stuff, and it'll just help the figure that much more and make it that much better. But even if you just have him as is from Hasbro, I think he's still a solid figure. So that's pretty much going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.